So does he stand by all his statements?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
The Leader of the Opposition.
In light of his statements concerning litigation around the plan to sell off shares in Mighty River Power, is it the government's intention to hold back some of the 49% of the Mighty River Power shares it is privatising to cover the risk to the government of a successful challenge from Tū Wharatua? And if so, what is that percent?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
No.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Was the risk to the taxpayer of any litigation identified by the time of the budget? And if so, was it included as a specific risk, financial risk, quantified or unquantified?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, there's always litigation risk. That's always been known, and the likely effect of that is not cost. The likely effect of that would be delay.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Is it the government's intention that the taxpayer may need, therefore, to bear the risk of the Tū Wharatua or Māori Council challenge in court? And if so, is this a deliberate protection of companies and individuals contemplating buying shares?
The Right Honourable Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, we live in a democracy where people have the right to test their legal rights in court if they choose to do so. Whether someone would be successful in getting such an application heard in the courts or successfully judged in the court was a completely different issue.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Martin.
Mr. Speaker, that was an interesting answer, but not one to the question that was asked. And the question that was asked went to who was bearing the risk, whether it was the taxpayer or the purchasers. That was not addressed.
I'll allow the Leader of the Opposition to repeat his question just to avoid any avoidance of doubt. The Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is it the government's intention that the taxpayer bear any risk of Tū Wharatua or the Māori Council's challenge? And if so, is this a deliberate protection of companies and private individuals contemplating buying shares in Mighty River Power?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, there wouldn't be a financial risk. There could be a time risk.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Did his government encourage the board of Mighty River Power to increase salaries before partial privatisation in order to avoid the embarrassment of salaries skyrocketing after the sale?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, no. And I would note in the 9 years that Labour were in office, the Chief Executive's salary at Mighty River Power trebled.
The Leader of the Opposition.
In light of his answer, did he think that was good justification for the increase in salaries this time around with Mighty River Power?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, contrary to what the member might think, I've never been asked about salaries today. I was asked about directors' fees.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Has he seen the analysis by Ernst & Young that Mighty River Power, Genesis and Meridian are well run by international standards, and is he therefore aware that any effort to extract further profits from these companies will be at the risk of either asset stripping or increasing power prices?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, if they want to increase power prices, all they need to do is go and ask Labour, because they got them up 72%.
Supplementary.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In his answer to the earlier question, is the Prime Minister now admitting that the legal action or potential legal action from Tū Wharatua and the Māori Council could delay the asset sale program?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, there's always that risk from litigation. It's been known for a very long period of time. I don't think it's necessarily likely. I'm just saying that's always a possibility.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given his reported statement that he is unconcerned and unsurprised that directors' fees would double if his asset sale policy goes ahead, why did he not tell New Zealanders earlier that privatisation would mean that power company directors would see their pay double, paid for out of power bills?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure I've ever been asked that question either. I was asked about an increase in the fees for the members, the directors of Mighty River Power, not in the context of what percentage they were moving. And it's worth remembering that Mighty River Power is a company of revenue in the order of about $1.5 billion. So changes of the magnitude that have been outlined by the member are unlikely to have any impact on power prices.
Dr. Russel Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Has the Prime Minister seen the document from Treasury which indicates that director fees are likely to double And where does he think they're going to get the money from, if not from consumers?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, Mr Speaker, no, I haven't seen that report. Secondly, I think it's very unlikely, and history tells us that companies that are run privately where they're listed on the stock exchange have continuous disclosure, open to all of the analysis by stockbrokers and by analysts in the market, tend to be better run.
Question number 3, Melissa Lee.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.